Right, back live with you tonight, and thanks for staying on. Several reports suggest embattled Free State Premier Sisi Ntombela will be axed after she was beaten to the provincial chair post by Mxolisi Dukwana last month. The ANC's Provincial Executive Committee has not made its decision on the Premier public, but the DA Free State Provincial Leader Roy Jankielsohn says even if Ntombela is axed, it will not necessarily improve delivery. Jankielsohn joins us now for more. Good to have you, Roy, and thank you very much for your time. Do you think this rumor, if true, would be because of the performance of the Premier, or it would be because of political expediency?
Good evening, Tabo. I've been a member of the legislature for 17 years. I've been through 3 different premiers, 6 different speakers in the legislature, and normally what we have is a different face, but the same party in power. So I don't think it's going to make much difference whether Sisi Ntombela is premier or someone else is premier. But what we have experienced in the past, especially in the more recent past, is that when a new regime takes over the province, the governing party, specifically the ANC in the province, then they like to put their factional cadres into the most senior positions they can, both in the legislature, in government, and in government departments and municipalities. So I wouldn't be surprised if they were to axe her. The problem we're facing at the moment is that because of this uncertainty, we have a huge amount of instability within government in the Free State. It's as if people are all sitting waiting to see what's going to happen, and that is obviously affecting service delivery.
Looking at some of the commitments that she has made in her administration, if you were to review them, what are some of the things that she had promised to actually accomplish? Did she start any of them? Are they currently ongoing? And has she completed any of those commitments?
Well, since she became premier, things haven't improved and in fact, in some instances have deteriorated. If one looks at the state of roads, which she promised to repair, we're in a much worse situation than we were when she took over. Our healthcare system is on the point of collapse. We have strikes in hospitals. We have people dying in waiting rooms in hospitals. We have an education department where children are overturning police vehicles in schools. And those are basically the most important things that the provincial government is responsible for. We also haven't seen a decrease in state capture or corruption. This is continuing in the Free State, even though she promised it wouldn't. If one looks at the Auditor General reports for the provincial departments and specifically municipalities, our basic services in municipalities have basically collapsed. A lot of towns, as we speak, are sitting without water in the Free State. And when I asked her in the legislature about this, she said, well, it's not her responsibility, it's the national government's and municipalities' responsibility. So she's not showing leadership at the moment, and I'm not sure that anyone else would improve because it'll be a different face in the same party. It's just a different faction, perhaps, within the party. And in the Free State, we don't just have factions, we have factions within factions.
So the chairperson of the ANC, the last time he was in the province, here's what he says. He says, a key observation that we can confidently make here is that there is neither local nor provincial governance in the Free State. That's what he said. And the fear is that the removal of Sisi Ntombela could rather deepen the factions in the province and could probably lead to more non-governance than anything else. What's your feeling as a Democratic Alliance?
Well, it's actually strange because the first part of his statement I have to actually agree with, and I don't always agree with most things that the ANC say. But the second part, I'm not sure. You know, whether she's premier or they recall her and replace her with someone else, it's just going to be a different faction governing with the same outcomes. And as I said, I've been through a number of premiers, a number of speakers. I've seen a lot of MECs come and go, including Mr. Dukwana, who people are mentioning as a possible replacement for Sisi Ntombela. He was at one stage speaker. He was an MEC under Ace Magashule. He testified at the Zondo Commission, strangely enough, because when he was MEC, when he alleged that these irregularities took place, he never said anything. But then when Mr. Ramaphosa took over as president, he suddenly developed a backbone and went to the Zondo Commission. So at this stage, I don't think there's much trust in any faction within the Free State. And we are very concerned that at this stage there isn't a government. There's a lot of uncertainty within government. And another important thing for us is we're reaching the end of the financial year. And what we experience at the end of financial years is that you get fiscal dumping, where departments actually start dumping funds onto projects so that they don't have to return that money to Treasury. And I'm very concerned that fiscal dumping is going to become fiscal plundering, as many of the cadres who are sitting in government are unsure whether they're going to have jobs soon.
Now, as part of her announcing what the province will be doing the last time she gave the State of the Province address, she, for example, spoke about cracking down on corrupt elements in the province. For example, saying they've made great progress on 45 matters with a combined value of 2.1 billion rands when it comes to COVID-19 related contracts which have been enrolled with the SIU. Was she beginning to make an impact on corruption?
No, those COVID investigations were initiated at national level, and it's not just funds that she needs to investigations taking place there, but we would like to get the case numbers from her. If she's cracking down on corruption, she must supply us with the necessary case numbers and tell us who is involved in that, and she hasn't been able to do that up until now.
Yeah. Some other idea that she purported to be establishing is what is called an auditing task team to monitor and assist municipalities. Did she ever put such a team together?
Well, we're not aware of that team, and if the team is there, it hasn't made any difference to our municipalities, because what we experience on the ground is a regression of audit outcomes within municipalities in the Free State, and the total collapse of services in ANC-run municipalities in the Free State. The Eskom debt has increased, the debt to water boards has increased, and we don't see any improvement in the audit outcomes. There's no consequence management, and I feel sorry for the Auditor General because, you know, they're like a stuck record. They keep repeating these things year in and year out, without any changes on the ground. And unfortunately, in many municipalities, service delivery has collapsed completely.
Roy, we appreciate your time. Thank you very much for coming on. That is Roy Jankielsohn, there of the Democratic Alliance in the Free State. Not expecting any much of a difference, even if the chair of the Premier were to exchange hands there. Not much faith being put either on Dukwana as the Premier. This as it is rumored that Sisi Ntombela is on her way out.